But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
What's up, Faithful? Welcome to the 49er Faithful UK Live. As always, I'm your host, Paul Hope. And joining me tonight, I have everyone's favourite president, Lee Gowland.
Hey, buddy. We cap twins tonight.
That's right. Our very own Mr. Worldwide, Erik Orrgárde.
Good evening, everybody.
And last but not least, it's Nadgy Khirat.
Hello, everyone.
So, folks, happy NFL schedule release day. Sadly, as we expected, our 49ers are not coming to London this year, but we do know that the San Francisco 49ers chaps are kicking off the year at Levi Stadium. Primetime, baby, as they welcome the goddamn New York Jets for Monday Night Football, or Tuesday, 1 a.m., depending on what side of the pond that you're on. But before we get into all that and much, much more, how are you three fine gentlemen doing on this scheduled release day?
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite exciting. I actually got a text message through from Nick Clark not too long ago, a couple of hours ago, saying he's sorry that the announcements today didn't include us after they traded the 49ers. So I said, traded the 49ers? It's predictive text. It changed, teased to traded. So he was just reaching out because obviously he knew what was going on in the UK, he knew about the Debo thing. Obviously Nick had said, don't get your hopes up about that. So it was good for him to reach out and say that. But yeah. It's been an exciting day. I've been watching them drip through all the rumours. You don't know whether or not to believe them. Most of the rumours are coming through from unverified sources, but it's still exciting to actually see the Niners against somebody else on a particular week.
Yeah. It's weird, though, how I feel like this is the first year it's gone to another level. People are really excited about release day. Usually it just kind of comes out and then people wake up and be like, oh yeah, we're playing this team then. There's a lot of build up to it. I don't know why. I think it's probably the London thing, isn't it?
The international thing, not just London, but also Brazil and Germany.
Yeah, true.
It's now a bit more like it's not just 3 games. It's like a whole series, a proper international series now, not just a set of UK games. But yeah, exciting times. Obviously, the big takeaway is there's going to be a lot of tired Mondays, a lot of primetime games, tired Mondays and Tuesdays.
But before we go down that rabbit hole, Erik, the Debo tweet got me excited. And I know Nadgy and Lee behind the scenes were like, look, Paul, it isn't happening. And I knew in my heart of heart it wasn't happening. But when you're plugged into social media and you see a tweet like that drop, and then last week, Nadgy was in on the introduction, throwing him under the bus when I did my whole London baby. And it shows, Nadgy, how far we've come when I put in the Discord group last night that we were doing this show at 8 p.m. And group members are saying, you chaps not going live at noon, British Standard Time, when the news was breaking. I was like, sadly, we have these things called jobs. You'll have to wait till 8 o'clock. But as you've alluded to, Erik, so I was going to start with the Jets, but you've dropped in the prime time game. So from what I gather, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prime time games at the moment. Obviously, week 1 will park. Have you chaps had a chance to see the rest of the prime time games and look forward to any in particular?
I haven't had a look at all, to be fair. I've been busy dealing with mortgages and stuff, which is boring. But yeah. Oh, hello, Brett. Oh, God. No, I did see we're playing the Bills. Is that right? On prime time?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a couple of primetime games which were fairly predictable. So obviously against the Dallas Cowboys, because Jerry Jones was pushing for that to be a week 1 game. And against Detroit, because it was such a good game in the NFC Championship game. I always thought that would put both of those on. So neither one of those came as a surprise. The Bills, the Bills has come as a surprise. I didn't see that one coming. LA Rams. I'm guessing the NFL think they might be able to challenge in the division this year, and possibly they could do. They had a good draft. Seattle away again. I don't see Seattle as being that much of a draw. I think mainly because I think we're going to batter them. And then obviously you got New York Jets. And to be honest, it's a little bit harsh on Aaron Rodgers, isn't it? Coming back after an Achilles tendon injury and then coming up against Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Game 1. That's if they play him. They might not play him week 1.
Interesting that we have two divisional Thursday night footballs. Seattle away and the Rams at home. They're both Thursday night. So hopefully we have a bye week in and around one of those, because divisional games are usually quite tough matchups. So interesting.
I wonder if it's Amazon pushing to get a little bit more meaningful games on Thursday night, and because I know they complained quite a bit, not last year but the year before, that their game wasn't, they had the best Panthers, which were like 2-20 combined or something at the time.
I can't comment on Amazon.
Yeah, well, no, it's just because they've obviously bought the right to TNF for quite a lot of money, and I think they're pushing to get games that divisional game, even if one of the team isn't competing for a playoff, it's still going to be a good game. People are still going to be interested, especially if we're in it, I think. So yeah, I can see why that would be on prime time. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets flexed though, if it's towards the back end of the year.
So we haven't ran them across the bottom for 2 reasons, chaps. 1, I was at work today and I forgot. And 2, the games haven't been officially confirmed.
Yeah, this is
so the beauty of us doing this show live is we're just talking about some of the speculation. Week 1 against the Jets is booked in, and we'll get to that in a moment. I should have said for context, week 6 is at Seattle, Thursday night football, as Eric said. I wasn't surprised by that. We seem to play them in prime time. The Thursday night seems as good as any. Week 8, Dallas. Week 13, at the Bills. Week 15, the Rams. And week 17, our friend Andy Norton has not texted me yet, so you mustn't have seen that, because I think the NFL chaps are hoping for another blockbuster game like we saw in the NFC Championship. And I agree with Nadgy. As much as I've been a fan of the NFL for so long, today felt different. Maybe it's because I wasn't plugged into social media, and every time I grabbed a break at work, there seemed to be something in the Discord. And you've got to give credit to the community. All of the UK faithful were plugged in. And there hasn't been too much disappointment that we haven't been coming to London. But I do like how Lee dropped in at the start, chaps, that Nick had told him not to get our hopes up. And to be fair, Lee, no one could accuse you of doing that recently.
No, not at all. Not at all. Maybe initially, but as soon as I found out, then I tried my best to calm everybody down a bit.
So, I mean, most of the excitement that we got was mostly due to one conversation Lee and I had with in Vegas. And I mean, it was just words in the air. We kind of took it for gospel at the time, but turns out, things change. Rules are different year after year and things like this. So, we were hoping, but we never had the answer until it's properly announced. It turns out there's no rule. You don't have to play in England within whatever time frame. It's just the way it is. They'll come eventually, I'm guessing. We'll see when.
I mean, being plugged in, Matt Miyoko said it a few weeks ago, and I know a few people had asked him that you had a team coming across, and he said no. And I stumbled across an interview with Kyle and John, and it was saying Mexico was their first choice if they have to travel. And I've had a little bit of hate on social media today when I've, tweeted out disappointed. And it's a credit because some of our friends across the pond are like, we don't want the team traveling. And I'm like, look, I get it from a team point of view. I look at the fixture list. I look at how far we have to travel. But for us, we are the 49er faithful UK. Can't get to Levi's every year, as awesome as last year was. So obviously, you're hoping all 32 teams based in the UK, fans, today were hoping it was going to be our turn to come across. I know Gary, who's an admin member, dug out some of the stats about how many times the teams have come across. And like you said, Nadgy, when it does happen, it'll be epic. And all it means is we just have to have a few more watch parties just to prepare, chaps. I'm sure we could do that, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, funnily enough, you say that. there's potentially 2 games back to back, which could both be candidates for watch parties. So, and the both road games. So I'm wondering if the 49ers intend to have back to back watch parties in London, or maybe it's one in London, one in Leeds.
That would be amazing. I'm really looking forward to a potential watch party because I missed the one last year, the regular season one. I obviously went to the playoff ones, but the regular season ones with Joe Staley, I wasn't here for that. So another watch party like that with a former player or something would be amazing.
So Nadgy, we're joined in the chat by our insider.
Yeah,
this is the guy with the knowledge, isn't it, Nadgy? Come on, explain for those people
Chris
watching.
Wood has been. Chris hasn't slept since free agency started in March. So send him some coffee, buy him a coffee if you see him. He's not allowed to sleep until the season starts because we need the news as soon as they drop. And Chris has been on it, best insider in the business by far. Yeah, so he's given us what he knows, from his sources, which we obviously can't disclose. So he's saying, what's interests me about the whole schedule release, really, the most important thing to me anyway, is when's the bye week gonna be? Because I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I hope so far I've been leaked week 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15, and 17. So I don't see number 3 or 4 here, or 5, and I hope we don't get a bye week 4, because I'd hate that. Week 9 would be nice.
After the Cowboys.
Yeah, after the Cowboys would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'd go Chief Cowboys bye. That would be nice. Yeah, that's really the only thing I'm concerned of. That actually interests me.
I have one more thing, Nadgy, that I look for, and that's any potential for another gold mine trip. I don't know if we're going to get it. Obviously, it's not a guarantee. No. It's would be absolutely amazing if we could do it. So that's looking at the games in the schedule. Where would that fit in if we could?
Yeah.
Hoping it doesn't clash with kids' half term or something at school.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I've got my eyes on at the moment.
Yeah. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to go this year, but if I could, that's what I would look at as well. When the gold mine would be feasible, also looking at where you can do a Thursday night game and then travel somewhere to catch a Sunday game. So you can get 2 games in 1 week, or 2 Sundays at home, so you can go for 8 days and watch 2 games kind of thing. That kind of thing that's what's interesting for us in the UK, to maximize football time to time away kind of thing.
Well, we have a question, Nadgy, there. So Rob wants to know how we feel about the players playing 2 Thursday night games. And I think some of the high-profile NFL players have come out and said, should we have 2 bye weeks? Given that we're on this topic at the moment. I mean, obviously for us, red eye, as we call the Thursday night games, you have to get that Friday booked in, off work, or drink a lot of coffee. But what do you chaps think about the players playing 2 Thursday games?
I mean, the 2 bye week thing has been around since the extra game has been added, I think. I don't think it would be a bad thing. Obviously, what's bad is it keeps pushing the Super Bowl further and further. All the playoffs and all that just keeps getting pushed a week extra, which is a bit, I don't know, would end up being no off season whatsoever if they carry on like this, jokingly. I think second bye week would be nice, although it would diminish the going top seed and getting yourself a bye week because you're the best team. So there's that. And now I think, now that we talk about the bye and playing 2 Thursdays, I reckon we will have a bye after the Thursday, so we get actually 2 weeks off almost. And then we'll probably play, you play a Thursday and then nothing, and then a Sunday, so you get 10 days rest after a short week.
So I can guarantee you we're not going to have a bye after a Thursday night game. And the reason for that is the first Thursday night game, the week after, we already know who we play, Kansas City, because that's been announced.
Okay, yeah.
And the next Thursday night game means we wouldn't be having our bye week until week 16. And by then, I think everybody's already completed their bye weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
So Anthony's put in there, Lee, that he's put, as we are already scheduled 2 Thursday night games, does that mean at least we cannot be flexed from week 13? And Correct. This is what I love. We're all ready.
Correct.
People are looking at flights. I'm like Nadgy. I won't be making it across the pond this year, but the rest of the fixtures or the schedule, shall I say, is not released until 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 1 a.m. for us. It's like you, Nadgy. I'll be going to bed. I'll be waking up in the morning and seeing it. So that's when tomorrow, for you guys based in the UK, we will wake up tomorrow and we should know all 272 games, this wonderful sport of NFL. We should know what weeks they're being played. And then it starts with kickoff times. I've seen in the group league, there could be potential for 4 UK meetups given the 6 o'clock games. I was like 4 watch parties, and a few people have put, we haven't got that many brownie points in the bank. And then Eric texted me earlier and was like, mini meets. And I think that's why we're all excited. The hangover of the Super Bowl is lifted. We've had the draft. We're all plugged in. We're all getting excited. And I think it's the first time I've celebrated NFL schedule release day. Tracy thinks I'm mad anyway. So, but yeah, what better place though, chaps, for us to dive into.
So the real bad thing about the 6 o'clock games, is depending on who we get week 11 might be the bye week. But depending on who we get week 11, we've got Tampa Bay, which will be a 6 o'clock game, week 10. And then we've got Green Bay and Buffalo, weeks 12 and 13. And both of those are more than likely going to be a 6 o'clock game. So there's 3 out of the 4 in the space of 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough ask getting people to go to multiple watch parties that close together.
It is. I mean, James has put their evening all to the UK division and good afternoon to our stateside friends. And he's put, now that London is a 49ers free zone, what games would be fun for a meetup? And that's what I love about this group. Already people are like, nah, can't get to London for a 49ers game. When's the watch party? And I think you mentioned it either last week or the week before, Lee, that we do work with Nick Clark. And obviously they have to work within their parameters. And as soon as they know something, they let us know. But it's not going to be more than, 4 or 5 weeks beforehand that we're able to tell people for definite what the details are.
You know what? I've just said that Buffalo could be a 6 o'clock game. It's not going to be a 6 o'clock game because it's already slated to be. Yeah, it's a prime time game.
Yeah.
So that actually takes away one of the games that could have been a 6 o'clock game.
I mean, last year we had 2, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if we have 2 again. With Tampa Bay would be nice because that was our gold mine trip. It would be nice to have a meetup with everyone to watch Tampa and us destroying them again.
So we have the potential of 3: Miami, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay.
Oh, Miami would be
all
spicy.
Of those could be 6 o'clock kickoffs.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Eric. Out of the 3, and this is just hypothetical, people, don't be coming after Mr. Worldwide. Out of those 3, if you could pick one for a UK watch party, which one are you picking, buddy? Out of those
Green
3?
Green Bay. I think the game in the playoffs, we owe them a bit of a beating, a bit more of a convincing beating, I think.
So I'd be very surprised if it's Green Bay. Sorry to piss on your bonfire. I'll be very surprised if it's Green Bay because that's Thanksgiving week.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's
and I wouldn't have thought
then.
they'd want to bring people over for that week. So again, we're now down to 2. We're down to Miami or Tampa Bay.
I'll go for Miami then, because Nadgy already said Tampa Bay. That was easy. Right, well, you got to spoil that one, D.
Nothing at all until it comes out, until the date comes out.
No, but obviously McDaniel, so there's a connection there.
Cool.
Miami, it's always good fun to play with coaches from the Shanahan coaching tree. So yeah, wouldn't be a bad one either, to be honest.
I mean, for me personally, we saw Tampa Bay at the gold mine last year. And Andy Davies, who we had on the show recently, is a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan. And it would be epic to get him at one of our meetups and watch the game together. I think Jack, who's now a group Lee, he shared a nice post on Facebook today. He's got loyalty to Miami. So it might be interesting to see him turn up in a split shirt. But it's all this speculation. But we need to bring it back to week 1. Purely because I've just starred Simon's message. So Simon is going out there.
Nice.
I've already been in contact. He's got the flag. And the Irish faithful, who have started to get a presence online, they've got a member going out as well. So I've already connected the dots, and I'm going to get them 2 together for a photo with the Irish faithful flag, with the UK faithful flag, and we'll post all of them. That's not a bad game to be going to, chaps, is it live? Monday Night Football, New York Jets at home. So let's circle back to this game. So, Eric, when you heard that it was going to be the Jets, it was going to be Aaron Rodgers, it was going to be Monday Night Football, were you excited? Or did you think it was a bit of a...
The only thing was I was like, I'm going to have to wait for the whole opening weekend to see the 49ers. That was the only thing where I was a bit like, it's a shame, because obviously I'm eager to get the season off and running. But primetime, Robert Saleh, Aaron Rodgers, it's a good matchup. Good to, but yeah, it's going to be a tired Tuesday, obviously. But yeah, I was excited. How about you, chaps? Lee?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Jets game. Like you, our very first game is going to be a red eye. We're going to have to wait all weekend until we can see the team play. And to be honest, looking at what we can see from the schedule at the moment, obviously a lot of these are just rumours and leaked. If it is indeed the Jets followed by Minnesota, potentially that might be a candidate for the Goldmine game.
What, week 1?
Because it gives people... Yeah, because it gives people the opportunity to go to Levi's, and then if they want to move on to a second game, go to Minnesota the Sunday after, because then you're moving across to the east side of the country, which obviously reduces your time in the air for your final leg back home.
He's got plans. People. He's going to
love the way you think, Lee. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And obviously it's condensed a little bit, but to be honest, I mean, I would be going Friday to a week on the Monday anyway, regardless. Mainly because I have checked, and Stanford are playing home. Who they're playing, I can't remember who they're playing. They're playing at home the night before 2 nights before the Jets game. Oh, and I think if you time it just right, the San Francisco Giants have got a home game as well against Milwaukee Brewers.
Wow.
Funny you mentioned the Giants, because Eric was there, but someone who works in the Giants front office reached out to me after last week's show and was like, if any of you guys are out, drop me a message. And I was really blown away that people are watching and reaching out with that. Now, Lee, the key to enjoying a Stanford game is cheering for both teams. I told you this last year. I had a great time.
It's not Paul, it's alcohol. That's the secret.
Nadgy gets a bit of a flashback because you made me send Nadgy a bit of a video when we were out at the last Stanford game, and it was not a very nice message, was it, Nadgy?
No, it wasn't. Nothing less expected. Yeah, good times.
Like
good
I said,
times.
alcohol.
Yeah,
too much of
it's
it.
really interesting about the Giants, because obviously I was at a Giants game last week in Denver, and they actually happened to win, which for this season was quite an achievement. But that would be awesome to go, obviously, to take in a game. For those of you who are into baseball, that stadium is the best stadium in baseball. It's amazing. Even if you're not into baseball, you should take the opportunity. Should all of Lee's plans come to fruition, that would be amazing. Be really cool.
You just need to make a few calls to make it happen. Call the city.
Yeah,
call the
you
Giants.
Hook on the phone, Lee, and let us know.
Yeah.
Justin is put there.
Perfectly.
So Justin, who is based across the pond, who has been a big part of the Discord community, he's mentioned he'll match up the date with a Rush road trip. He wants to meet everyone from the UK faithful. Your friend Chris Nadgy has put, we have 3 buys this season, 1 bye week and 2 games against the Cardinals. So we're here for that kind of content. And Lee, Ty Alston's already got his source. He circled that calendar and he said, my good friend Lee Gowland has told me that it's going to be Miami or Tampa Bay. Now, if it is one of those games for the watch party, it'll mean Brett Sinclair may not be with us, because Brett Sinclair, breaking news, everybody, he plans on being in Miami or Tampa. So if anybody works for any of the alcohol companies based out over there, you might want to tell them in advance, because Brett is going across.
Stock up loads.
And Chris has confirmed that what you said is correct, Nadgy. He hasn't blinked in 3 weeks. So Chris,
perfect.
Put the phone down, son. Have a break.
No. It's not allowed to. It's not allowed to. Just keep refreshing. Refresh.
So have you applied for the gold mine yet then, Lee? Because a few people in the group have been...
Well, no, I can't apply until the schedule's been officially released, and then we know what games are there. So one thing about the Jets game as well, the thing that'll probably prevent us from having the Jets game as the gold mine game is the fact that the 49ers won't confirm if you have that game until the middle of August.
Yeah.
So it'll literally give you 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is not enough time for anybody. Obviously, you can book a hotel and cancel free of charge up to, I think it's 24 hours before you're due to be out there. So the hotel's not the problem. But getting flights 3 weeks before you're due out there, it's going to cost an absolute fortune. However, having said that, British Airways always have a sale on. It starts the middle of July and ends the first week in September.
Yeah, the reason I ask is, sorry, Nadgy, there's a few people in the group who haven't been to San Francisco before, and I've seen on the Facebook group we have that people are trying to make plans. So I think young Keitha, it was like, when can I book up for the gold mine? I was like, the problem is, Keitha, until we've officially got it booked up ourselves, we can't let people know. But what's good is we did that pod a couple of years ago where we talked about going to San Francisco. Now a group of us have been. If anybody does need any information, just head over to one of our social media pages. So that's all I was going to say, Nadgy. So
that's good.
The pod is really good. So anyone should just listen to that pod. It's very comprehensive. If there's any questions after the pod, post it in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Jimmy's put here, stop teasing us. 49ers, Giants, Stanford. I mean, judging by how Stanford played last time, Lee, it's not that great, is it?
No.
Especially no more Pac-12.
The beauty about college football is year in, year out, teams like Stanford could change.
Yeah,
go from being a poor to an average team to being a really good team. That happened back in 2017. We were a really good team. The next time I went out, 2019, we were garbage. So it can change really quickly.
So Ty Alston
in the NFL
reckons that you just need to pick up the phone, Lee. But Shell's got a different perspective, and I quite like this one. Shell believes that you actually are the mayor of San Francisco. So I had to share that one, chaps.
Says
we're having a bit
of
a
scap.
yeah. SF?
Yeah.
So
I mean, week one will be good, right? Because it's a good time to go to San Francisco. It's back end of the summer, so it's still hot.
Yeah.
But it's cooling down a little bit, so it's not too
well, apparently September's probably the best month to be in San Francisco.
And then schools are back, so it'll be a bit cheaper and all that stuff.
And with it being an evening game, obviously the heat will have cooled off a little bit in the stadium, so it wouldn't be too bad. But it's not going to be anywhere near as cold as what it was for the Tampa Bay game, because you've still got that residual heat from the day, keeping the air warm.
So I don't know if you know this, Lee, but somebody picked up a jacket for that second half. Look at it hanging there in the background.
You mean this thing? This whole thing?
We don't talk about it much.
No, we don't talk about it at all. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a whole club about it.
People don't know about it, chaps, because Nadgy was going to come on as a special guest, and I had a whole intro lined up, and then obviously Gareth decided to join us. Then Lee decided to join us, and I was told to keep the introduction short. But I will get Nadgy on his own. We've got a whole thumbnail, the Cool Jacket Club. But yeah, I have to admit, Nadgy, Colin is not Colin. Nathaniel tagged me in a post on Facebook about 10 days of joy, and I had to tag a person and a photo. And straight away, Tracy was like, "You're just going to tag all your 49ers mates." Now, I know Nadgy doesn't really do social media, but the one picture of you at the gold mine last year stood pointing. That is just an iconic photo. And like you said, Eric, this is why people are wanting to join up for the gold mine. They've heard all our stories. We haven't even done the gold mine pod yet. We keep pushing it back and pushing it back. So I suppose once we know the schedule tomorrow, we know roughly what the gold mine game will be. Maybe we can tie in doing a gold mine pod. So for people who were on the fence about deciding to go, can listen to us wax lyrical about our memories from last year. So there you go. That's my idea anyway.
Trip of a lifetime. I'll never forget it. That's for sure. No. So if you get the chance to go, just go. Life is too short. It's all about the memories. And yeah, we have some amazing ones. We should definitely do like a pod or a live.
I was completely forgetting about the gold mine pod.
Yeah. I thought we did it for some reason. But
the problem is, it's trying to figure out how to get everybody on. It's trying to figure out who to host. Because I think when they did it last year, Nadgy, you had been to the gold mine, but you weren't on that particular trip, so you hosted. And I think the fact that there was 40 of us, and obviously there was the Danish chaps, there was Chapman, and every time I get tagged in like a post like that, and I just look at the photos, and then I think, It's just such an awesome trip, and seeing people getting excited for this year's, and that's why I know we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about it. So week one, we're not going to do an in-depth analysis right now. The early analysis, Nadgy, is that we are favourites because we're at home, but obviously we've got training camp, we've got roster changes. Obviously, as the season approaches, we'll do a bigger deep dive. But as opening games, I was quite excited. But like you said, Eric, the fact that we have to go all weekend, I don't know whether it's going to be easier for us because there's no pressure on the Sunday night. We can literally watch NFL Sunday. But then you're kind of thinking, we don't play till tomorrow. And last year, Lee, we had a mini meet for their week one against the Steelers. So I was kind of hoping for possibly a 6 o'clock game because that might have been a nice way to start the season with either a watch party or a mini meet. But safe to say, people, given it's a 1 a.m. game, there won't be any watch parties or mini meets for week one.
Yeah, true.
I have a question on week one for you, chaps. What do we think of Salah at the Jets? Do we think he's running out of time or chances if the Jets don't come good soon?
No, I don't think you can say he's running out of time. I mean, yeah, look at what he's had to work with.
Yeah.
So he got Zach Wilson, and yes, that was during his first season there. That was one of their decisions. He didn't pan out. Some players don't pan out from the first round. It is literally a crapshoot when you go for a quarterback. People reach for quarterbacks because that's what they think the need is. So they take anybody that they think is half decent. Zach Wilson was taken. Then they traded for Aaron Rodgers, and he lost what was it, 4 snaps?
8
before
minutes,
the Achilles went.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't legislate for that. So I think he's got at least 2 to 3 years leeway here, because defensively they are quite a good team.
Yeah,
could be a tough one.
Just ask Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a tough one, especially the week one shenanigans where people aren't really up to match speed, and week one's always weird. The games don't just feel quite right. People aren't, you know your best in week one, and then things happen. We'll see. It'll be interesting. If we lose, it's not going to mean a lot. If we win, it's not going to mean a lot. But yeah, it's good to play Rodgers at home. We know how that usually goes.
Regular season Rodgers can be a little bit different, Nadgy. We've got nightmares of regular season Rodgers. And I think, as Ty's put there, Nadgy, this is the first season Salah has his QB. But I'm fascinated by the chess match, which is Robert Salah going up against Kyle Shanahan. The chess match that is Lee's favourite player of Javon Kinlaw coming back as a Jet. As Nadgy's favourite player, Isaiah Oliver, coming back as a Jet. So, jokes aside, there's familiar faces. Sauce Gardner had a bit of beef with Javarius Ward in the run-up to the Super Bowl. I've seen those tweets resurface. So, I think it's a good question, Eric. I think
the Kinlaw one he could be a potential absolute wrecking ball in that game because he had a good back end of the season and he'll want to prove a point. So that is a little bit scary.
Yeah. I mean, they're a good team on paper. We'll see there's still a lot of time and a lot of things that can happen between then and now and then. So, there's no point making analysis of week one now. The only thing I wanted to come back to regarding the schedule is that Bills game in December on prime time. That's not going to be fun. That's going to be a snow game, probably ice game, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough game for us on the road. Especially after going at the Packers. So we're going 2 weeks in a row, cold weather, away, second game away. And in the past, we've always struggled when we've been 2 games east side. I know the Packers not quite east, but when we go east side, we usually lose one of those games. I remember the Falcons, which was a meetup a couple of years ago. So yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be real tough. Hopefully, by that point, we're 11-0. It doesn't really matter, but we'll see. Ooh, Chris.
So Nadgy, I was just about to interrupt for a different reason because we've got to talk to our partners. But Chris, you've got us all in suspense. Lee and Eric are quickly searching social media.
No, I can see it.
So there we go.
Okay.
Now, put a pin in that, chaps, because as I said at the start, we've reached that time in the show where I need to tell you all about our awesome partners, Power Brand Systems. Power Brand Systems empowers creators and businesses to build their brand, attract an audience, and grow through effective systems and software solutions. Don't take my word for it. Here is a message from the awesome Power Brand Systems.
Ready to generate more leads from your website, Google, and your social channels without having to spend money on ads? Our platform provides you with an easy-to-use communication stream that sucks in free leads from your website, Google, Facebook, and Instagram, enabling you to reply and convert them into customers from your computer or from our mobile app. We'll even turn your inbound calls into text message conversations, so you'll never miss another lead again. Once you've converted a satisfied customer, you can shoot them a Google review request with a click of a button, which will explode your positive reviews and increase your position in search engines. The system will also pull new reviews from Google and Facebook right into your conversation stream, where you can read and reply. Jumpstart your business by getting started today.
So there you go. Now, Nadgy, Eric has brought it back to my attention. This is where I was going to go. But Eric has mentioned in our private chat that the Niners will travel the 5th most miles in the league for the 2024 season, and that's without an international game. So you were talking about that potential where it could be back end of the season, moving around, primetime football. So that's something that we need to be aware of, I think. Is that safe to say, chaps?
I mean, we're always a team that travels a lot, purely because we're West Side. And every time you go anywhere, it's unless you go to LA, you're just going to travel quite a lot. So yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. We've done it in the past. Whatever.
Chris, the pressure gets to all of us, son. He put away. Sorry, I have failed. And Nadgy, I think this is meant from his heart to you. He's lost his way. It was nice knowing us all. But
there's one other thing about the schedule.
Sorry. This is a great insight into the Discord life that we're having, and this is the kind of fun that happens over there. Yeah, come and join Discord. This kind of shenanigans and nonsense happens.
Shenanigans on Discord with Erik Orrgárde present. I don't know what you're talking about, Nadgy.
Nothing to do with me. It's everybody else. They're a bad influence. I was just going to mention one thing more about the schedule is we don't have one of the holiday games this year. I think Christmas is an AFC affair pretty much. I think that's a positive, right? To not be in and around Christmas. It's nice to watch, but I think from a team point of view, for the players,
it's positive.
Yeah, I think it's a positive.
So, do you mean for the players, right?
Kids.
So
yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs will play the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Baltimore Ravens will take on D'Amico Ryans. Now, I'll be honest with you, chaps. I was delighted we're not playing on Christmas. Because last year, when the schedule came out, I had to break the news to Tracy that we were playing on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. Probably Tracy's 2 favourite days of the year. But I don't know about the New Year one yet. But I think they might alternate, Eric, because they've signed a deal with Netflix. So that was going to be my get out of jail card, chap. So Tracy, if you're watching, I was going to be like, look, love, we won't watch football on Christmas Day. We'll just stick Netflix on and see what happens. Oh, there's NFL on Netflix. How did that happen?
I have bad memories from the Christmas game last year. It was Baltimore, right? It was Boxing Day in Australia, and I was on holiday in Australia. I watched it in a bar, and we got absolutely battered. And so my wife wasn't happy that I'd gone to a bar to watch the game, and then we didn't perform particularly well. So I'm happy to have no Christmas game.
To be fair, for those people across the pond, I think I saw this on Discord as well, that if you're based in the States, I can imagine football on Christmas Day is awesome, given the time and the family element. I know Shell was at the game, but for us in the UK, we say Christmas Day, it was like Boxing Day, really, wasn't it? So it was really late, and
I'm still hoping for a New Year's Eve meetup, watch the Niners all together, and celebrate New Year together. I think
that would be fun.
So you're travelling to Stockton. Breaking news: Nadgy Khirat's coming to Stockton, Riverside Lounge. Paul's got the upstairs booked. Tracy's downstairs.
I'm gonna have to at some point. So that's that. I still, from what's leaked, if any is true, I still don't see any week 5, week 4. So I really hope we don't have
week 4 and week 5.
Yeah.
So from what I've seen leaked that I shared early with you guys, we've got week 1 the Jets, week 6 the Seahawks, week 7 the Chiefs, week 8 the Cowboys, And week 12, the Packers. Week 13, the Bills. Week 15, the Rams. Week 17, the Lions. And then obviously week 3 is now the Rams. So I suppose that's the beauty of us doing the show now. Things are still leaking out. And then next week, we'll have the full schedule to look at. We'll probably do a ridiculously early season prediction next week. Just why not? Because it'll be that time. Yeah. But what game at the moment, if you think of all the teams we're playing, I'm sure all three of you know each of our opponents. What one game would you like to go and see live and why? I'm going to ask Lee first. So out of when the schedule settles down, Lee, I want you to pick one opponent that would you to face this year and tell us why you would like to see that team live.
Right, it would have to be the Cowboys because I hate them so much. And I know we're going to batter them. I don't care what they've done in the off-season. We're going to absolutely batter them again. Hopefully it'll be another embarrassing game for them. They'll do something idiotic, some stupid play calling, and they'll go away looking sheepish. Yeah.
They have. Zeke back at centre, yeah.
I'm surprised we weren't in for Zeke for the offensive line. Didn't we need help on the offensive line? Yeah. Zeke Elliott was free.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Zeke Brendel.
So, same question.
Dallas Cowboys at home. I wouldn't mind that.
Same question to you, Nadgy. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
Chiefs. I want. If I could go, to watch us play, of course, but watch Mahomes live would be pretty cool, and then watch us get revenge. I know it's not quite, but I think we'll beat them this year, and that would be nice. I'd like to see that. But yeah, we're playing at theirs, right?
No,
no,
it's at home. It's at home. Yeah, so that would be pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't mind going to Arrowhead, but that'd be a good game to go. If I had to pick one, that's the one I would go for.
And go on, Eric, bring us home. Who would you pick?
Rams away. I really want to go to that stadium. It looks pretty spectacular, and they don't have Aaron Donald. I know we have a good record against them anyway, but I think Rams away just for that stadium. I'd like to go to LA. I've never been, and yeah, obviously we're going to win.
So I've got to say, Eric, depending on who we get in week 4, that might be a duo for me because the Rams game is the day after my birthday.
Oh, there we go. We go together.
So that would work well.
It'd be romantic.
I could see where Nadgy was going with the Chiefs, possibly at Arrowhead, and you've gone for the Rams. I would take a leaf out of El Presidente's book and I would go to Seattle and watch the Niners at Seattle because I think I'd like to experience an away game before I did a Levi's game, and obviously the tailgating, the fact that you and Andy definitely enjoyed yourself, Lee, and I would love to kind of take up that atmosphere. So that would be my answer at the moment, chaps. Anyway,
yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. I see. Who said it? I think Shell said the Detroit rematch. I think that would be a good game to go and see. Absolutely.
Yeah, just put that here.
Seattle's a good stadium as well, Paul, that you've picked there. It's a nice stadium to go to. I know, Lee, you went last year. I've only been to a Seattle home game. I've not been to a Niners game there, but it's still an impressive stadium. Good atmosphere.
And look at what you're doing, Lee. Simon's not only going across the pond to watch a game at Levi's, he's already thinking ahead. Look, he's in Las Vegas week 2. So a cheeky flight might be in order. So, Simon.
Yeah, fingers crossed you get a game. Raiders at home.
I'd be very surprised if it cost them more than $100 for a return flight from Vegas to LA.
Yeah.
Cheap as chips.
Yeah.
I think it's a 15-minute flight.
Yeah, it's not far at all.
Well, I said to you before when we played the Panthers at home and we debuted the white throwbacks and Bosa got the interception and we absolutely smashed the Panthers. There's a group of old school friends who were out at Vegas on a stag do and they literally flew out, watched the game and flew back, and they said the same. It was quite cheap. It was so close. Unfortunately, Shell, Stockton in the UK, I should have clarified. She's perked up there, Lisa, and she heard Stockton and she thought we were talking about a meet-up an hour from where she is, but she knows we meant something totally different. Chris has jumped in there, Nadgy, and said, this is true, though. So the vibe on Discord, watching Philly bottle the #1 seed on New Year's Eve, seems to be up there with one of the nights on Discord.
Yeah, that was a good day. That was definitely one. That was good day. Not like Christmas Day on Discord. Although that was, we did it good, I think. Yeah.
And we missed a trick. Martin's picking Miami and Tampa simply because Brett will be there.
Yeah,
so wherever Brett goes, the people will follow.
Brett around.
He's got the liver to handle it, though, Martin. That's a difference.
And Lee, Ty Alston nearly gave me and you a heart attack there because he's put, is the sound muted? And I was thinking, oh no, if we've just been talking for 5 minutes, but apparently the error is on his end. So thank God, because that happens when it's on my watch. I have to defer to El Presidente. And Justin, we wish we had season tickets to give away. That brings me on to the news. The competition we ran last week, chaps, in true 49er Faithful UK fashion, we had 75 entries. We had one correct guess. So out of 75 people, we had one person select the New York Jets. So congratulations to Matt Quambra. I posted the Joe Staley bobblehead this afternoon. Funny story, the lady at the post office, you'll know this, Lee, what's inside the package? I explained it was an American football bobblehead, to which she said, what the hell is that? I showed her a picture on my phone. Her response was quite horrific. I had to double check I'd showed her the right picture because, you know, Brett does send me some awful stuff sometimes. But no. It was the correct picture. And she was like, grown men collecting dolls. I've never heard something so stupid. So sorry, Matt. The woman at the post office in Darlington's not a fan. But Joe is on his way. And we will be doing another giveaway. I just need to think about it because some teething problems with this one. But yes, we've done our giveaway.
We got time. Unfortunately, Matt's stuck in, I think it's 1998 last time I heard from him. So hopefully you'll get it when you get to 2024, Matt. Good luck. Postal service is still as bad as it was back in the day. So you'll be all right.
Ty Alston was clearly watching last week when Nadgy told Shell to jump on a plane, fly over to the UK for the official watch party. I mean, the hype among the UK faithful after the party last year with Joe Staley. Now, people were saying, how can you top Joe Staley? But Erik Orrgárde will be there with his flag, and his flag is well-travelled. So there'll be a few people asking you for a photo, Mr. Orrgárde. I know that for sure.
Let's not compare me to Joe Staley, eh? No, I mean, there's a lot of players, right, that do work for the 49ers and with the 49ers. Sure, they are up for a trip to the UK, so the potential is there. If the team repeat what they did last year, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, we would love Shell and Ty to join us. They should definitely do that. Agree.
So I'm going to take a stab in the dark here.
Go on.
I think the Dolphins game is going to be week 5. And I think that will be the official watch party in the UK. So that is the 6th of October.
That is
the same day the Vikings play the Jets. Yeah.
So
at Tottenham.
When the
that made sense because it was last time the International Series game.
So when the Debo video dropped, I booked that week off work and the Monday. When the news dropped at dinner time today, I cancelled that week and that Monday off work. So now what you're telling me is I need to go back to work tomorrow and book that Monday off. But Ty, Red Jet Shell, you'd be more than welcome. Lots of photo ops. I know Crystal will definitely be coming across this year. Just wanted to give a cheeky shout out. She's on her way to the Bay Area. So she's covering the Dwight Clark Legacy series. She broke that news live on our channel. So when she's back, I'm looking forward to jumping on her channel and she's going to tell me all about it. But that's an awesome experience. And I'm looking forward to seeing the content that she shares. And Martin, you're allowed to fanboy. There you go, Eric. Martin's fanboying. So just so you know.
What other fans would you like, Ryan? I'm jealous now.
Martin Hughes is the man.
He is indeed. So, I mean, that does mean, and I know this is a bit of a sore subject, last year, watch party and the people that tried to get out of Tottenham and couldn't get to the watch party because it was, it was full. When the schedule release and you see the 6 o'clock games, that's when the watch party may happen. If it happens to be on an international game and you buy a ticket to go and see those games, just bear in mind that you might miss the watch party. If it is indeed in London and if it is indeed around that time, 6 o'clock. So just so you know, because we're learning, we'll reiterate this when we have confirmation and all that, but bear that in mind. Maybe go and see another one later.
The expectation is the main venues can be bigger than it was last year.
Yes, but
The reason I say
the
that
watch
is because
parties are also getting so much bigger. How many people did we have at the Super Bowl?
you're right.
You know, so.
You're right. The reason I say that is because even before we had that watch party on the Friday night, we were actually scouting out other venues that were larger.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure
So
it's
that we had the
all
capacity.
upward and onward.
To be fair, though, I do like that Nadgy's mentioned that, because I do remember travelling down on the train last year.
It was
and I
a
remember
stressful day.
the build up. People talked about us having like a pre-watch party, but it would have
Yeah.
been really impossible to enjoy that, because we were getting messages from people saying, you know, it was first come, first serve. The venue was oversubscribed. You're right, Nadgy. I mean, it leads us nicely into, I was going to ask you guys before we finished off. I've seen the fixtures. I've never been to an international game at London, various different reasons. But the first one is I was always waiting to see the 49ers first as my live team. But I'll be honest, none of those fixtures jump off for me. And if I'm going to spend my money travelling from the northeast of England to London, it'll be for a 49er faithful watch party. It won't be to watch one of them games. Am I on my own here? Have you three got any plans to travel down? Or are you going to do what you did last year, Nadgy, and wait till the morning of the game, jump in the car? Because you did that last year, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So for whatever reason, I think it might have been train strikes plus some plane airport strikes. There was definitely train strike, but there was also ground people in airports having strikes. So people coming from Europe couldn't get to London. So basically a bunch of tickets starting getting on sale the night before, and they were selling for very, very cheap. I got some club tickets for £130, 3 of them, with my daughter and my partner. We went. I think it was 130, 150 maybe, for all 3 of them. So we paid like 50 quid a ticket essentially. So yeah, we just jumped in a car, drove to Wembley, and watched what was it, Falcons, Jags, I think.
Yeah, I think.
And yeah, just nice day out. Now, I would never buy full price ticket to watch a game in London. I've never really enjoyed them. There's too many fans of every team because they just want to go and watch a team, and the atmosphere is just lacking compared to when you go to the States and watch your team in their stadium, you know, playing against, you know, in front of 70,000 fans. They're all rooting for one team. It's totally different. And as much as I appreciate the international and the NFL being here, it's very meh. It's nice, but it's not. Yeah.
I have a slightly different take to Nadgy. I used to have season tickets, so I used to go to all the games. I've been to probably 15 of them, maybe 12 to 15 games, something like that. And Nadgy's entirely correct. The main difference is you have fans of every team, so you don't get the same crowd atmosphere. And that's the one thing that's really special when you head over to the US. But actually, for me, just seeing those athletes live, seeing those wide receivers up close and personal, seeing how fast the game moves when it's not on TV, I think it's well worth it. So I do enjoy it. But that being said, having been to a lot of those games, I probably won't make it. At least I won't plan to. If I do, it'll be similar to what Nadgy did last year. I'll do it last minute, and I'll save my pennies for either the watch parties or a trip across the pond, and that'd be me.
I'll go full. Yeah, go on, Trailing.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I'm with Eric. I used to be a season ticket holder, and when they first came over, the very first game, the Dolphins Giants, I didn't care that it wasn't the 49ers. I fully expected the atmosphere to be strange with being so many different fans from different teams. It was just the fact that we were going there to see a live football game, and that was the attraction, and that continued on for years and years and years. And it wasn't until they started to scale back the activities for kids that I stopped taking the family down there, and then I pick and chose which games I wanted to go to, because I wanted to go and see decent games, so I wanted to see decent players. It originally started out when they were trying to grow the fan base, so there was a lot of activities down there. There was the Play 360 for the kids, so there was all sorts for them to do. Wembley was a much more open space. They've now got blocks of flats and all sorts there, which makes it feel very claustrophobic. There's nothing much on other than you go to the game, you watch the game, you go home. And if you're going to pay upwards of £600-700 for one weekend for a family of 4, it then doesn't become worth it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Nadgy, coming full circle, my love for the NFL started 2011, 2012. You know, marriage breakdown, I became a single dad. That outlay of cash to get to London, it was more, I didn't feel like I could justify it. And then obviously I got more involved with our group. And funnily enough, I kind of blame you, and you'll laugh. You always said to me, if you could get to the States, that would be your first choice. And then last year, when my good friend Lee Gowland was sat in the casino, Steelers week 1, I'm like, Lee, I'm not going to the gold mine trip. And Lee's like, it won't be as expensive as you think it is. And then when I priced up London,
I think that's the big thing, isn't it? And we, as a Niners fan, we have to go all the way to San Francisco. But you don't have to do that. You can just fly to New York or Miami, which is much cheaper, and go watch a game there. And it's not that much different than spending a weekend in London, especially if, like us three here, you're up north and you're trying to get train tickets and a hotel and all that kind of stuff. It's just, the difference really isn't worth. Like, I'd rather save a little bit and spend it and go abroad and go across.
There was also a marked increase in the prices, the ticket prices for the London games. Like when they first came over, it was pretty reasonable, and then I think as they moved it to 3 games a season, it then started becoming ridiculous in terms of the cost. And that was when I said, I'm going to give up my season ticket because it's costing a fortune. And then even though you're up north, I'm pretty close to London, train tickets, etc. It still adds up.
Yeah. So I'm about to say something that's going to make us all laugh here. Not only did the game day tickets increase, but so did the beer prices. Yeah. Me and Dave Bettridge was paying £10 a pint last year. Yeah. Last year or the year before the Packers Giants game. And the reason I'm saying it'll make you laugh is because we've just come back from Levi's last November, where it was costing us $22 a pint. So in comparison, it's still quite cheap.
I mean,
but not as cheap as what we'd normally pay.
Now that we're getting, a bit more of a presence on YouTube, our social media following, there's part of me thinking, do I go down to a London game? But the back of my mind, I'm already thinking, save that money for when, because the Niners have said, Lee, they do want to hold a watch party. London is one of their aims up north. And to be honest, I loved it last year, getting off the train, walking around London. The stress was there. But I think, like you said, lessons learned. And once we know, I think you've got to give Nick Clark and his team the credit. You think back to week 1 when they came across the pond and then the Queen died. I'm not laughing at the Queen died. I'm laughing at the fact that all the plans went in and they went out the window. And each watch party with Nick and the crew, I think, have got better. And I think we've got better as well. I'm proud when I look back on the footage we took at the Leeds Super Bowl watch party. And you think Nick wasn't there and he entrusted us to look after it. And I think we did a good job. But just before we digress, Justin has made it his mission. He's going to get us a shout out from 3 content creators. So I'm putting it out there. We're going to hold you to this, Justin. So Jason Aponte is first. We've already got John Chapman as a friend of the show.
Rich Eisen show.
Rich Eisen. And go on, Eric, give us a third one.
Matt Miyoko.
Yeah, that would be nice.
There you go. Martin has put there that the last Wembley games was when El Presidente got him drunk and made him buy a throwback Jerry Rice jersey for £240.
I remember.
Sorry,
that
Don.
day
It was only £60. It was only £60, Don.
It better be nice for £240. Yeah.
I have a feeling we may get
I think it was 140, not 240.
We may be getting 41,000 emails from Mrs. Hughes following that announcement, Lee. So might want to check that inbox. So, chaps, what I wanted to finish off on is Nadgy's probably going to roll his eyes, but the big news that Deebo Samuel teased. I wanted to just have a bit of fun with this, right? So, Connor Ryan, I'm blaming you because you told me it was happening because Deebo is your favourite player. Now, you may have seen that the big news could be to do with a T-shirt that has been launched in Primark for £12 and it's gone viral. What do we reckon, chaps? Do you think that was the big news, or do you think it was just the NFL UK got excited because they had an NFL player there and they just got him to say big news coming and they didn't realise what it would do?
I think the NFL UK account know exactly who is the most productive UK-based fan base, and they took the opportunity to get free advertisement from us. I think that's what they did. They know exactly what's happening.
They know Paul Hope by name, I think.
Yeah.
I wish they'd reply to Paul Hope, because as much as I'm up for a bit of social media engagement, it's frustrating if that's what they've done, they've not kind of like acknowledged or retweeted or. But
he's not wrong.
No, we know that.
He's not wrong.
You're very good
I'm assuming he's talking about day one.
Yeah, probably. I think the Debo thing ultimately is one of the most famous NFL player, and maybe it wasn't directed at us in particular, and just as the NFL, UK fans in general. So, yeah, whatever. They got him to say something, and then we just jumped on it. He's no Chris Conley though, is he? Come on.
So I'm gonna screen grab that because Nadgy surprised me there. Because one, he doesn't normally like social media. Two, he always shoots us down when we get excited. But he used the proverbial "we got excited." So after the show, Lee, we're gonna have some fun with that. Because Nadgy, I'm joking, buddy, but I know what you mean. It was just I got excited. I got excited purely because
I mean, I saw it and I was like, "Oh, hello, hello, Debo. That's cool." But then I don't. That's it. That's the nature of my excitement.
Maybe I'll swap with you, Nadgy, because I was thinking the whole time. Dente's told us it's very unlikely, so I'm not jumping on anything until I hear it officially. So maybe I'll leave out of your book, Nadgy, for a change. I'm usually one to get quite excited, but I didn't this time.
Eric, we went
this
on.
Is proof.
We went on Baldy in the Big Fella a couple of weeks ago. And they were getting excited about the London Games. And before Eric could speak, I went, "It's not happening, chaps. Lee Gowland's told me it's not happening." I absolutely shot it down to the point where they were like apologetic for asking the question. And then 2 weeks later, Deebo Samuel was like, "Big news coming." And I thought, oh, God, if that announces the Niners to London, that's going to be my soundbite of me from the UK faithful going, "Ain't not happening, Nadgy. Not a chance." And Eric was just like, what he said.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So Ty thinks the NFL UK took advantage of our popularity, and Martin Hughes said we're massive. That's why. So I like that. Anything else, chaps? Because
so I think there is something coming, and I can't remember who mentioned it, but there could be a tie-in between Debo and Lando Norris, potentially around the British Grand Prix.
Ah, right.
Okay. So he's gonna. Yeah, because he's been doing stuff with McLaren, hasn't he? So.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would be early July. So that would be outside of the camp.
Maybe Debo comes over for a watch party during their bye week.
And that would be the weekend of the Silverstone Grand Prix.
There we go. I've just solved it. Could you imagine that? That would be fun.
That'd be cool.
Unlikely.
I don't know who'd be more starstruck. Conor Ryan. I'm trying to think who else is a Debo fan. Or Wayne Humphrey. We have to clarify, chaps. Every jersey he bought recently seemed to jinx the player. But Debo is still here. So, Wayne, you can wear that jersey, buddy. I knew I had to.
Yeah, except that he's changed his number. So, if Debo does indeed come over...
luckily enough, I mean, he had a number 19 and Wayne had a stitched jersey. So, all he needs to do is take the 9 off and move the 1 across.
But if that's a message to Debo, because I know Kyle watches the show. So, if you could call Debo and tell him, when he comes over, if you can bring a few jersey with him, so we can do some swapsies, that'd be cool. Thanks, Debo.
Yeah, we do love a good giveaway at the 49 Faithful UK watch party. Well, chaps,
we're not very good at doing them, but we do love a good giveaway.
We try to give you stuff.
We try to give you stuff away. Is there anything else before I finish off? What do we reckon? Covered everything, or do you want to keep
going? I mean, what I'll say is I'll reiterate. Everything that's coming out at the moment is rumoured. I mean, the guy that I'm following on Twitter, Aussie NFL, in the last half an hour, he's had 3 breaking official schedules come out. He hasn't got a source on there, so I've no idea how he thinks these are official. Oh, sorry, he does have sources on there. For a second, I thought that said Kirk Cousins. Yeah, so he's had 3 come out: the Green Bay Packers, New York Jets, and LA Rams. But we'll find out how trustworthy he is once it is officially announced. I mean, if these match up, then definitely he's a guy to follow for next season, for when the schedule comes out.
Well, on that note, Lee, please make sure that you have those notifications switched on. Please do drop us a like and a subscribe. It's one of those days in the calendar, the NFL schedule release day. So we're kind of getting closer to football. We will be back next week. 8 p.m. British Standard Time. Don't have a topic, don't have the full guest list, but rest assured there will be someone here to talk all things 49ers. Eric, Lee, Nadgy, you three have been absolute legends. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everybody who watches, comment, and all that. Thank you.
Love the comments.
Very much.
Yeah, the chat has been on fire as always. If you want to join the Discord group, do drop us a DM, because Discord is the place to be, especially in the season.
The link is somewhere on the group. It'll be in the pin post.
That link may have expired yet again. It's a little bit flaky, that link.
Yeah, it's
and
weird.
Somebody needs to keep on reminding me about Discord because I completely forget about it. I just happened to drop into Discord the other day. Justin had sent us a friend's request, so I accepted that. And then we spent the next half an hour chatting on Discord.
Yeah,
so it is a good platform.
I mean, like
when you remember to use it.
We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, Instagram. Sarah has just said that once the watch party is announced, before we finish off, she just messaged me. Those people who can't make the watch party, she's happy to host a virtual tailgate. So that could be something awesome to add. But chaps, this is the 49er Faithful UK. Thank you for watching. As I said earlier, tell your friends about us. Please like and subscribe. Until next week, stay faithful and go Niners.
Go Niners.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in our heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, deep card. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't